Hi, it's Stewart Fraser, PGA Professional at Sneinton Golf, and we've got a couple of products here today to review that I've wanted to review for quite some time. I've heard a lot about them, and TaylorMade have sent us a couple of their brand new mill grind wedges. They're both the high toe versions, but I've got two different versions here, the two different faces that they produce. So we've got a full face and also the normal face. I've got a 52 degree with 9 degrees bounce, and then I've got the wide sole option in the 60 degree. So the 60 degree has 15 degrees bounce, so that's going to be great for all the golfers out there that get the club coming down steeply into the turf or into the sand and hitting a lot of shots heavy. That's going to help the club skid and bounce through the golf ball. So I'm going to hit a few shots with both of these and see how they perform. Now, the reason why I've heard so much about these golf clubs is you just have to take one look at the faces there, and the new mill grind face, it feels like sandpaper. It's very rough, very abrasive, and I would imagine it's really going to get that ball spinning. I have heard that especially the full face one really gets a lot of revolutions on the ball, really gets the ball spinning back quite a lot. So I'm intrigued to see whether the performance today really matches the rumours that I've heard. We're going to try it in the bay here. We're going to hit some shots off a mat, but then we're also going to go out onto the golf course and see how it reacts off grass and also how the ball reacts hitting it into a green. So we're starting off with a 52 degree gap wedge. So this would fit typically in between most people's sand wedges and pitching wedges. It's a very popular wedge, one that we sell a lot of, because say there's always that 7 or 8 degree gap between pitching wedge and sand wedge normally, which leaves you quite a large space to fill in between your full sand wedge swing and your full pitching wedge swing. So I'm just going to hit a few shots with this. 52 is certainly a favourite of mine. The mill grind wedge themselves look great, very bladed style from the top. I put that in behind the golf ball and it's a really nice shape. There's obviously no offset on this whatsoever. This isn't the full face, this is the standard face. So just going to hit a few different length shots with this one and just see how it feels off the face initially. The club feels really solid. It feels very, very soft off the club face, and you can definitely feel that ball climbing up the grooves before it leaves. What is noticeable is that on the grooves on the face there's a lot of ball left in the groove, so it's obviously ripping that golf ball to shreds. That's got to mean that it's imparting a lot of revolutions on it. From what I can see on the flight scope numbers so far, it does seem to be spinning maybe a little bit more than what I would expect with a 52 degree wedge. The real test will, as I say, would be when we get it out on the golf course. First of all, I'm just going to have a go with this wide sole. The wide sole, as I say, also has the full face, so I've got 60 degree, 15 degree bounce with the full face grooves. Now this does look unusual. It's a very similar head shape. It's maybe a little bit higher at the toe again, but very, very similar head shape. And to be fair, if I tend to miss hit one on the golf course, it does tend to be towards that toe of the golf club, especially when I open the face up. My bad shot is always in that direction. So this is certainly something that would benefit me quite a lot. Head shape's lovely. So hope it feels the same. Yeah, it feels really, really soft off the face, very responsive. Again, I can feel that ball climbing its way up the grooves, and it just feels like it's going to impart an awful lot of spin on it. I think they feel like, because they're a nice soft face, it feels like I can control the distance and the trajectory very well as well. So the ball doesn't really fly off the club face. It feels that it's on the face for a very long time, and I like that with a wedge. TaylorMade's finish as well is very different on these. So the face itself, that feels very sandpapery, the new mill grind face, is a raw finish as well, so that will change over time. So that face, I would imagine, I've only just taken the plastic off these, but that face will go rusty and it'll change colour over time, which will probably make it more abrasive and spin even more than it does when it first comes out of the wrapper. But anyway, let's get on the golf course and we'll give these a try in a real life situation and see whether we can get a little bit of spin on these, maybe even with the short shots. So here we are out on the par 3 9th at Sneinton, and I've got both my wedges, 60 degree, 52 degree. I've got 4 stations set up, so I'm going to hit 4 shots from 25 yards, 50 yards, 75 yards and 100 yards. Also a range of different lies. So we've got some rougher grass, some off tighter lies that may spin a little bit more, but it'd be nice to see how these clubs react from a range of different conditions and distances. So let's have a few shots first with a 52. I'm going to hit 2 with a 52. Typically a club that I would use from this distance anyway. Certainly that felt really nice off the club face, felt soft. Again, felt as though the ball climbed up the grooves before it left the face. I really dug its heels in with that one. It wasn't the best strike, but it certainly dug its heels in, had a lot of spin on the golf ball. More so looking forward to the 60. Get a few more revs on this one. I would imagine this is going to spin quite a lot. Yeah, it certainly feels nice off the club face. Yeah, that really stopped fast, even with a short shot of 25 yards. That ball probably stopped within 2 feet of landing. Now, we've got to bear in mind as well, these are range balls that I'm using, so it's not a premium ball that's going to spin a lot, but it really does feel as though I'm getting a lot of reaction even on such a short shot. So we'll head back to 50 yards, and as we work our way back here, we'll start seeing obviously the club impart more revolutions on the golf ball, but the shot should feel different off the face as well. It should start to feel a little bit softer because of the fact the ball's compressing a little bit more. So let's have a go with a 52 from 50 yards. So it's beginning to stop a lot faster. That last one I hit there landed up near the flag and stopped again within a couple of feet of landing. So that was quite good, and I am driving that 52 in a little bit lower, so it's not a really high trajectory, but it's certainly imparting a lot of spin on the golf ball. Let's move over to the 60. So what I've also done with this shot in particular, with the 60, is I'm going to give myself a little bit better lie with this one, and I have brought out a Pro V1, so it'll be interesting to see how this one spins and feels and reacts when it hits the green. Yeah, it feels really soft off the club face, and again that's landed within a couple of feet of the flag, and it's almost stopped dead when it lands. So I would expect, as we make our way further back now, that the ball's going to start almost reversing and coming back to us a little bit. Some of these ones over here we're going to play out of some worse lies, so to see whether we can actually still get the control and spin from rougher grass. And it'd be interesting to see whether these do as well from the bad lies as what they do from the nice lies which I've used so far. So 52 degree from 75 yards. We'll start off with a decent lie. Felt good. Yeah, the ball's stopping quicker and quicker the bigger swing I make. It's certainly imparting more revolutions on it. We're almost getting to the stage now where with the 60 here I'm going to have to start making a much bigger swing. When we get back to the 100 yard shot, I would imagine that's almost a full swing with this 60 degree for me, so that should start imparting an awful lot of revolutions on that golf ball. So the full face, high toe, 60 degree. That's really stopped fast. Almost came back a little bit, that one from 75 yards. It's certainly noticeable, as I say, that this is really getting some spin on the golf ball. What I also noticed with that one is I attacked that quite steep, and yet the wide sole plate on this golf club, the 15 degrees bounce, prevented that club from digging in that time. I really felt it skid and bounce underneath the golf ball. Even with the lie that I've got here, which is quite, there's been a lot of rain recently and it's quite a wet lie. The ground's not very firm at all. So I have one more shot with this one from 75. Yeah, it feels fantastic. Let's make our way back towards the 100. So these are the ones I was looking forward to the most, fuller swings. We've also got a camera up there on the green, so hopefully we can have a look at the reaction that these balls are getting when they hit the surface. I'm going to give myself some nice lies from this one. I'm going to get the ball popped up nicely on the turf so I can really impart as much spin as possible on this golf ball. They're only range balls, but I'm still expecting this golf ball to react really positively off the club face, and those aggressive grooves to do their thing and make the ball spin. So 2 shots with a 52 degree first from 100 yards. Certainly stopped very quickly. So this is the one. I think the 60 should spin a lot from 100 yards. This is nearly a full swing for me now. The same good lie as we were using for the 52. I think I saw that one come back a little bit. It felt fantastic. These still feel really soft. Even with a range ball, the strike feels really, really solid on the club face. Yeah, that ball's certainly backing up a bit. So these grooves are doing everything that I expected them to do. Even out of the bad lies where there was a little bit more grass in between club face and ball, the ball was stopping absolutely dead with both wedges. Even with the shorter swings with a 52 degree out of rough grass, I was getting as much control as I've ever had with any wedge I've ever used. So we're just going to pick these golf balls up, get back into the studio, and then we're going to have a look at some results as to how much these wedges are actually spinning, whether they're creating any more spin than the standard wedges that I use day in, day out would do. Be really interesting to see whether this new milled face is really helping you get more control on the golf ball. So I've just got back into the bay and picked up the iPad, and we've got the results from the shots I was hitting in the bay with the 2 wedges, and the results are really surprising. So typically I would expect a lob wedge to spin probably around 10,500 RPM, and maybe about 9,500 for a gap wedge. And on average, both of these 2 golf clubs are spinning probably 600 or 700 RPM more than what I would expect with a normal golf club with my set of golf clubs. So they're imparting an awful lot more spin on the golf ball than what I would expect. Now, what also surprised me when I got up to the green with the golf balls I hit outside, when I saw where the pitch marks were for the shots that I hit and where the golf balls had finished, I was surprised there was an awful lot of reaction on those golf balls, more than I actually saw from where I was hitting the shots from. So with the shorter shots, the balls were stopping almost dead. Maybe the 25-yard shot a couple of hops forward and then stopped dead. But there was lots of reaction. And even on the greens this time of year, I was getting the ball zipping back with the longer shots with both golf clubs, which does surprise me because, you know, it is the winter time, the greens aren't particularly fast and responsive at the moment. You wouldn't expect huge amounts of spin, but it was a significant reaction when the ball hit the green. So I'm really impressed with these two wedges. The feel was fantastic, very, very soft. It felt like it was going to spin a lot. And now we've seen the reaction from the ball on the green and also the data which backs that up. Both wedges spinning an awful lot more than what I would expect. I'm really impressed, and TaylorMade have produced a fantastic product, and the new mill grind face that they've created definitely works. It's definitely creating more spin than the old face and a lot of its competitors. So if you're looking for a wedge to get a lot of control, it looks great, a lot of control on the golf ball, these are definitely ones to try. What is just to note is this is the raw finish, and they're already starting to discolour. So they're starting to turn where it's more shiny, more of a shiny chrome finish at first. Now I've hit a few shots with these, the face is starting to look a lot more bronzed and a lot duller. So I would expect these wedges to probably start rusting and the finish changing within a week of purchase. The face hasn't marked up. There's certainly a lot of ball marks on the club face from the cover of the golf ball left in the grooves, but it still looks like a great face, and I actually quite like that duller, less shiny finish. You don't tend to get as much glare off the sun when you're looking down on it, hitting your wedge shots. So it's something I just much prefer. So the TaylorMade mill grind high toe wedges, all in all, fantastic product. Something that certainly you need to try if you're looking at changing your wedges. The performance is exceptional, and the feel and the looks of these things is just great. I hope you've enjoyed the video on the TaylorMade mill grind high toe, and don't forget to press the subscribe button if you want to watch more of our great videos reviewing new products all the time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.